it kind of seems like the tide has turned.
There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going running all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of War Eagle Weekly. How are we doing tonight, Josh?
Doing pretty good, man. It's the day after my birthday, just chilling with the family, eating the leftover cake I had from yesterday, and living the life. How you doing?
Yeah, that cake was good, man. We always joke about it being a heart attack cake because it is just
really
nothing
is.
but a heart attack in a pan, man. Oh my gosh.
Nothing but sweetened condensed milk and chocolate.
Yeah, basically, and Butterfinger and caramel. It's just everything.
Whipped
Either way,
cream. It is the cake. The cake.
it's good. It's good. Either way, everybody is talking about the big cat weekend because in the moment, man, I can tell you, I was on the forums on the corner for On Threes forums, and everyone's talking about, man, we need more 2025 commits. And by the end of the day, man, and a couple days later, it has not disappointed, has it?
No. I think I'm pretty sure this would be the biggest Big Cat weekend since it started. I thought last year couldn't be topped. Yeah. And, this year we got one more Alabama flip than we did last year. And I couldn't be more ecstatic. Maybe a flip and a half over the Titan last year. I'm still on the fence about Antonio Coleman.
Yeah, that's one of those things where, when you've flipped a total of 3 times now,
third time's the charm.
He's committed 4 times, but it's been 3 flips. You got to it's one of those things like, hey, show me, big fella, because until that happens, I don't foresee anyone being too excited about his commitment, but he's still a great player. And if we end up with him, it's a great flip. But I know every fan is concerned about him, actually being in this class.
I know I am. I know whenever he first flipped, he was doing an IG live video. Someone commented War Eagle, and he says, "Hey, we don't do that in here." So I'm like, okay, maybe staying with Alabama. And this time, though, it seemed like he did an interview after he flipped, and it seems like he said he's shutting down his recruitment and he's not going anywhere. But again, we've been saying this to each other since the beginning of his recruitment. This one will not be over until the pen meets the paper on that one.
Yeah, and we've joked around about him constantly flip-flopping back and forth. And again, I want the kid to be in our class. I'm happy that he's chosen the Tigers at this point. But if he flips back to Alabama, I'm not going to be surprised. And if he transfers to Alabama in the spring, I wouldn't be surprised with today's transfer rules. But one of the other flips that is probably, more impactful right now, just because we believe it is solid, is Derek Smith's flip from Alabama into Auburn. And he becomes, for a short period of time, the top prospect in our class. And it was a huge commitment. A lot of people thought it kind of felt like at the end of the day there on Saturday, he was going to announce it. And everyone was thinking that was going to be the big flip. And then all of a sudden, Antonio Coleman comes out. And so everybody was like, oh, okay, well, that's what it was. But lo and behold, come Monday, I think it was Monday, or was it Sunday?
It was the same day Anquan Fagans committed. I think it was Monday.
Okay, so Monday. Yeah.
Might have been that Monday.
So lo and behold,
Anquan Fagans committed on the 29th. So it's Sunday.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that same Sunday.
He goes and flips, and everyone was like, yes, that's exactly what we need. Now, everyone's talking about, is he going to play safety, defensive back? Is he going to play wide receiver? With the way that wide receiver commitments are going kind of right now, it kind of seems like no matter what, we're going to keep him on the offensive side of the ball unless all 4 of those freshman receivers show out next year. Or all 3.
It's all 4. The freeze 4, baby.
Yeah.
Come
Well,
on.
I thought maybe Walker White was part of the Freeze Four, but maybe I'm wrong.
No. Freeze Four is in reference to the wide receiver class, the Freeze Four. It was going to be the Freeze Five if Ryan Williams came, but he decided to stick with the turds. But good for him.
Yep. Yeah. So, and then, like you said, Antoine Fagans on the 29th goes ahead and he commits. And something I kind of want to talk about before we talk about the other commitments from Saturday. I kind of want to, because it was Big Cat weekend, but it kind of has bled into this week. We're recording this on Thursday the 2nd. So we're at the end of this big weekend. The day before Jared Smith is going to announce his commitment somewhere. But sticking with Anquan Fagans, there was a surprise visitor at his commitment. I don't know if but I don't know if you've heard.
Yes, I have.
It's
not like super confirmed, but it's widely rumored that he was there, and that's huge in my opinion. Again, he could have been just passing through, but it's not even his high school.
Exactly. And we're talking about Naheem Offord, who is the number one player in the state of Alabama and a top 3 player in this class. He is currently committed to Ohio State, and there's been a lot of smoke lately. And by lately, I mean in the last month and a half about a possible flip for Naheem Offord.
Since his official visit, yeah.
Yeah, from Ohio State to Auburn. Can Auburn flip him, especially after a obviously successful Big Cat weekend where he felt so inclined to go to Anquan Fagan to Thompson High, where Anquan Fagans announced his commitment? Is this even possible, Josh?
Man, you know what? I like the smoke. Like I can actually smell fire with this smoke instead of it just being, old fire and just smoke or just lingering around. Naeem Offord, man, he's just been flirting with Auburn for so long. I know Ohio State is sweating. He'll still tell you he's solid with Ohio State, but everyone knows he's listening to Hugh Freeze because nobody in the country is recruiting better than Hugh Freeze right now. And when Hugh Freeze talks to you about football, I mean, you're stupid if you don't listen. You're just stupid. And Naeem Offord is definitely listening.
It certainly seems like it because, again, he just seems to be popping up all around Auburn players at Auburn. And with how successful this recruiting class has been about Hugh Freeze making sure that he puts a fence around the state of Alabama, kind of like how Nick Saban did back in the day when he first got there. Everyone's hearing this. They've heard it, constantly, the comparison between that and Nick Saban and, Hugh Freeze's first true recruiting class. I mean, 2025 or 2024 was kind of his first, but this one he's had relationships with all these guys for 2 years now.
The first season where he's had his hand in every single player's recruitment. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it just really feels like he's making it a priority, the state of Alabama, unlike the University of Alabama. Hence why we were talking about the tide turning.
No kidding, bro.
It's crazy.
I was watching Locked on Auburn the other day, and Zach Blackerby and Charlie Five were talking about it, how Hugh Freeze is making a priority to recruit the state of Alabama, and Alabama fans are clapping back saying, oh, we recruit nationally. But then Charlie Five talks about how Nick Saban would recruit players in Alabama just to keep them away from Auburn, even if they weren't going to play. And he did that. And I'm not saying that's what Hugh Freeze is doing because he's definitely going to use every tool in that arsenal. But you got to lock down the state you play in if you want to compete in that state, in my opinion. You just really do, especially when one team out of the two has 7 of the top 10 players in the state of Alabama. And they're all high-profile players.
Exactly. That's what I was actually going to get at, is Alabama has specifically lately, the last few years, has just become a hotbed for top-end talent all across the country. And something else that Charlie Five said, these high school coaches remember this shit. And if you are not treating their players with the respect that they feel like they deserve,
they're not going to give you the time of day when it comes to their players.
Exactly. And they're not going to help you push their players to that university. Now, if Alabama goes out there and performs in every way possible on the field the next couple of years, it's probably a moot point. But I don't know if they will. I think
I would definitely say it
they'll
would
do
have to
fine.
go past this year. Yeah, it would have to, like, the production would
Yeah.
have to go past this year, because this,
Yeah.
let's be honest, this is still Nick Saban's team right now. In a
Yeah.
couple of years, if they start to digress and just decline, then Kalen DeBoer is obviously not doing what he needs to do in the state of Alabama, and Hugh Freeze is going to go. He's just going to take over, like he's doing now.
And they lost a third of their roster whenever Nick Saban retired. But at the same time, there's still a lot of really big players there, including Jalen Milroe, who is, is probably going to flourish in DeBoer's system, I would imagine.
We'll see. I'm not high on Jalen Milroe at all. He is definitely a glorified running back. I said that about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts proved me wrong. Jalen Milroe has done nothing to prove me wrong on what I've been saying about him. Glorified running back that can toss the ball.
That's fair, and that's fair. And I think he got a lot better as the season went on last year. And by the end of the year, he looked like a really good quarterback, in my personal opinion. But getting away from Alabama, nope, let's stick with it because we're talking about Antonio Coleman again. There he is on the screen. He was also one of the commitments there. And then we had Blake Woodby, who also
finally pulled the trigger.
2025. He was the first 2025 commitment on Saturday. And just absolutely a big part of getting that whole thing going. I was on the forums. I was hitting refresh probably every 3 minutes, it felt like. And I could not get enough information. The commenters on that forum, the corner message boards, phenomenal, absolutely hilarious. Loved every bit of it. Because I was at work, I had the ability to constantly watch Big Cat Weekend through the the postings of the guys from On 3. So it was absolutely phenomenal. But Blake Woodby, Zach Mockerby said it. This guy has been rumored to be to Auburn for a long time. And so there's a lot less excitement around him than there really should be, because this dude is a baller.
He's a friggin' stud. He's the 17th rated cornerback in the class for a friggin' reason. And there's a reason why Ohio State still wanted him. Because he knows ball, he can play ball, and he's going to be on the Plains for 3 years. There's a reason why everyone wanted Blake Woodby, but there's also a reason why Blake Woodby wanted Auburn. And I tell you that reason, Charles Kelly. Doesn't get much better when it comes to coaching DBs and getting you to the league than Charles Kelly.
No, you're right. You're right. He has absolutely transformed how we have been able to recruit defensively. And you pair that with Crime Dog, and that's
an unstoppable force, man.
Yeah.
We're about to have the steel curtain on the Plains, boy. I'll tell you what. I can't wait for the season to start. Because, those rumors coming out of camp early that Charles Kelly and DJ Durkin wanted all the offensive players to fight the defensive players because DJ Durkin was making their life hell and Charles Kelly wasn't making it even easier as well. And there's also reports that there was a slight scuffle after fall camp started between the offense and the defense because the defense was playing so damn good. Yeah. I just cannot wait to see this team on the field in 2024. August 31st could not get here fast enough.
No, it cannot. And we'll be talking about more of, the upcoming season in our game preview segments that we're going to be doing coming up. So be tuned and watch out for that episode to drop here real shortly, where we continue on to games 3 and 4 against New Mexico and Arkansas. So great time to plug that, Josh. Getting back though to Big Cat Weekend,
so
a lot of talk is not only can we flip Naheem Offord from Ohio State, but can we flip Zion Grady from Ohio State to Auburn?
Man, I'm about 50-50 on this guy, man. I'm about 50-50 on Zion Grady because he keeps listening to Auburn. He's committed to Ohio State. He's from the state of Alabama. It seems like a pipe dream to be able to get 9 of the 10 top players in the state of Alabama. But it very well could friggin' happen. I like right now, like I said, I sit 50-50 on Zion Grady and my confidence in him flipping to Auburn. I don't see him pulling the trigger anytime soon. Maybe he wants to see the product Auburn puts on the field first. I don't know, but I can't make a call on it right now. I'm up in the air on it. I really, truly am.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I have a hard time going that way as well. I'm kind of along the same lines as you in the sense that if it happens, it's probably going to happen a
Awesome.
little bit later,
Yeah.
and it'll be great. Maybe we flip them both at the same time, which would be awesome,
That'd be
and
even better.
We start this big trend every year of taking Ohio State commitments and just flipping a bird to Ryan Day there in Columbus, Ohio. I'd be all
Man, that
for
would
it, you
definitely be
know.
the day.
So now, speaking of players committing, we have coming up. We have Jared Smith, who is supposed to commit. Now he showed up to Big Cat Weekend in a Cybertruck with a Auburn decal on the side of the truck, and rumor is the interior of the truck was decked
He's
out in
decked out.
Auburn gear. Now, again, we're recording this on the 2nd of August, Friday. His commitment date is set for the 3rd, so tomorrow. So by the time this airs, we're already going to know if he joins the class, but he probably is. We're going to talk about him as if he is going to commit to the team. Again, a player that everyone has been expecting to sign with Auburn, but is also a huge get for this team.
Yeah, I mean, he's the 42nd rated player in the. Yeah, he's the 42nd rated player in the entire class of 2025. So, I mean, if we're able to get Jared Smith, which it's, there's an 82% chance, according to On3, that Auburn gets him. I mean, that would just be another huge state of Alabama player that Auburn has on their upcoming roster. Again, like you said, it's more likely going to be Auburn. South Carolina's been number 2 for a very long time, but at this point, it's Auburn or nothing, in my opinion. And I think tomorrow we see him don the Auburn hat. Hopefully, he doesn't do what Anquan Fagans did in his commit, where he tossed the Auburn hat. That kind of made my stomach drop a little bit. And then he pulled out that
another player did that last year.
Yeah, he did it at Alabama.
Did that last year.
He did it at Alabama. He tossed the Alabama hat. Perry Thompson.
I could have swore there was, but I could have swore there was a player that did it to an Auburn hat, and you had the same feelings one time when we were talking. I can't remember, but
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember. But we're expecting Jared Smith. Outside of Jared Smith, who is another player that we could see commit next to Auburn?
That's a good question, man. Part of me wants to say Sam Turner, the 6'4" wide receiver. Is he out of Mississippi? Or is he from Alabama? No, he's from Georgia.
Yeah, I think he's
pretty sure Sam Turner's from Georgia. It could be Sam Turner. No. I know ever since Auburn missed out on Caleb Cunningham, they turned up on Sam Turner, and Sam Turner has really liked what he's heard from Auburn. But right now, there is a lot of traction for a certain player that I know a lot of people want, and we could know more about it this coming Tuesday. And that player is by the name of Deuce Knight. The Notre Dame message boards are going absolutely stupid right now. You go on there, you can't find a post that isn't talking trash about Auburn and Hugh Freeze when it comes to Deuce Knight. It sounds like Deuce Knight is really, really liking what he's hearing from Hugh Freeze, and he's according to Notre Dame insiders, he's likely to pull the trigger on a flip this coming Tuesday. So hopefully we get that good news.
Now, Tuesday is when this episode is going to air. So hopefully if you're listening to this, we already had that news, and this is just going to bring a smile to your face when we're talking about it. But it was reported that Deuce Knight's parents actually were visiting during Big Cat. First off, there was a bunch of people that were talking about him actually secretly visiting on Big Cat weekend, but he had camp and he had committed to some other stuff prior to Big Cat. And
he
being
did show up
invited.
late to Big Cat. Actually, he actually was there. He showed up late.
See, now there hasn't been any confirmation that I have seen about that. We have definitely seen that his parents showed up for sure. They 100% showed up because they kind of got an exit interview along the way. But there was a bunch of people that were talking about whether or not Deuce Knight actually showed up in secret. So I don't know if he did. There's no confirmed reports other than, hearsay and, message board stuff. So who knows? But I do know his parents wanted to get down here. This is part of their exit interview. Me and my wife visited Auburn and Ole Miss this past weekend since we never got a chance to explore other schools that have showed interest in Deuce. So we could sit down as a family and be sure Notre Dame was the perfect place for him. First off, that tells me, again, Notre Dame is still the leader, and they're the leader in the clubhouse. Yes. But they're exploring it, and they're open to the idea, especially if you show them, that this is the place for him. Knight's father, Justin, said, because we talking about the next 4 years of his life. So they're not taking this lightly. Deuce Knight seems like a guy that adheres to his word. This seems like this is something that has not been a quick process, flipping him, because he wants to be a man of his word, which I personally absolutely love. And it gives me a lot of confidence it gives me a lot of confidence that if he commits to the team, that he is going to stick with it. Now, that's easy to say, but hard to believe if he flips from Notre Dame. But Auburn is a lot closer to his family. I think he wants to stay in the South. I think he wants to play in the SEC. And I think there's just that competitive nature in some guys about proving that you do it, against the best. So I really would not be surprised if we see that flip come Tuesday. Now,
I would love to see it. I mean, I was just about to bring up Tyler Lockhart too. I was like, if it's not Deuce Knight, I would like to see Tyler Lockhart rejoin the class. He's supposed to pull the trigger any day now. There's no set date on when he's going to do it. A lot of people think that he's going to commit to Mississippi State to play with his brother, but it seems like Auburn is still very much in this race for Tyler Lockhart, and he would actually be our only true linebacker commit if he commits to Auburn.
Yeah. And the thing is, in today's transfer portal, his brother could be at Auburn next year anyway. So that's not that shouldn't stop him. And we talked about it last week in one of our videos about them increasing the scholarship limit to 105. And so
it wouldn't be an issue whatsoever then.
Yeah, we don't even need great players to transfer in. We can have project players, which, if his brother's playing for Mississippi State, he more than likely is a project player. Just being an ass. But that's kind of but that's kind of what it is. So not only is Tyler Lockhart an option, but we talked about it a little bit. Sam Turner flipping him from Georgia Tech. He's currently committed to Georgia Tech. Currently a 3-star player, but he is a Hugh Freeze wide receiver if you ever saw one. 6'3", 190 pounds, just monster. And he really does not seem like the number 487th player in the country. Everyone seems to be turning towards this guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why Hugh Freeze and company want him. I mean, he's a good player. I don't know if he's, that lowly ranked, and he's the 53rd best player according to On3 in the state of Georgia. I've watched game film on the guy. The dude is a tower. You throw high point balls, he's going to friggin' catch it. And I actually agree with Charlie 5. There's not 53 players in the state of Georgia that is better than Sam Turner. There's no way he should be that low. The dude can friggin' ball. He's a friggin' monster.
Yeah. And so I think he's a possible flip and a possible commitment to Auburn coming up as well. To go back to our original question, who's going to be the next player to flip? I think he's very well high up there, and I think he had a good time there at Big Cat. Now,
yeah,
another big thing that everyone is talking about, some people saying it's not a big deal, some people saying it's a huge deal, but we had 3 big commitments for the 2026 class that were there at Big Cat weekend, and Auburn has moved into the number one recruiting class,
baby,
in the nation for 2026, which is a big deal. Whether it stays that way for a week, whether it stays that way for 4 months, it's a big, big deal. Now,
absolutely, and
we
all owe it all to Hezekiah Harris, man. He started it, and there was more to follow right after he committed. It was a beautiful, beautiful sight.
Yep, absolutely. Hezekiah Harris, he basically showed up right on time, announced it. They were
committed on the spot.
They talked about hearing a lot of cheers coming from the coach's office upstairs, and he got that ball rolling, and everyone was like, "Okay, here we go. Let's get it going." And then the next person to commit was Shadarius Tootle for the 2026 class. Also, his dad. Have you seen his dad's jacket?
Yes, his dad's jacket is one of the most baller jackets I've ever seen ever. I want one.
Great. It was just great.
It was amazing.
Also, I just realized.
Can we talk about how good his name is?
Oh, dude,
Shadarius Tootle.
Awesome.
Come on.
All 3 of these guys.
100%. But with Shadarius Tootle alone, I'm going to be like Mickey Mouse when I'm calling for Toodles. Every time Shadarius Tootle makes a friggin' play, I'm like, oh, Tootle! Every single time. The dude, I'm so ecstatic for Shadarius Tootle. The dude is a monster.
Yeah. And all 3 of these guys are super highly rated. That's the reason why we have the number 1 class, is because of how highly rated these guys are. Jermichael Garrett then finished us off on Saturday. But we also got the number 2 punter in the country to commit on Sunday for the 2026 class, which we're losing Chapman after this year.
After what it seems like 10 years. It's going to be a sad day when he leaves, man. He's saved our offense more times than I'd like to admit.
Oh yeah. The Cal game last year was just a masterclass in pinning them in their side of the field, and then the defense just not letting them go any farther. Just absolutely phenomenal. But that kind of goes along with our number 1 class. Now for those people that are sitting here saying, "Oh, it's the 2026 class," they're so far away from committing. Early signing period is next December, so we're not even going to see them in school until January 2027 or 2026.
Whatever, bro. You build for the friggin' future.
Not just that, but there is a proposal that every coach is expecting to follow through and to happen, that they move the national signing day, the early signing period, from December, December 3rd. I lost my track on where my notes are. Oh, there it is. It's currently December 4th through 6th is early signing day in December. They're moving that to June 25th through 27th. That means by pretty much this time next year, we will know what athletes from the 2026 class are going to be signed on the dotted line. Okay, we talked about Antonio Coleman and saying, hey, we're not going to believe it till we get the commitment, until he signs. They would have been signed by now. So getting a head start on this 2026 class is a must. And this
especially if they move it up that far, hell yeah. That's crazy. That would be awesome.
Yeah,
let's go.
So, and then you would also be able to have the transfer portal be the main star come December. which is what a lot of coaches are wanting. Now, they're doing this in response to the expansion to 12 teams in the playoffs, and how many coaches are just going to be, dealing with that rather than being able to focus on recruiting. They want to get it at a better time. Now, a huge official visit month. So does that make May a huge official visit month from now on? Who knows? That's still yet to be seen. But
they might have to bump up Big
again,
Cat.
Just because it's they would have to. Just because it's the 2026 class, it is very important that we get a head start, especially with how far behind we were on the 2024 class and the 2025 class and the 2023 class. Potato Head just completely ruined us. But this coaching staff is they're planning on the expansion to 105 scholarships, so they're going to be bringing in a lot of talent. And then B, they're getting a head start on this 2026 class. And again, it is the number one class in the country, which no matter when that happens, is huge.
Let's go.
Part of the 2026 class, he did not visit on Big Cat weekend, Saturday or Sunday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but he did visit on Monday, is the number one quarterback in the 2026 class in Ryder Lions. Yeah.
That's really big. Really big, especially if we're go ahead. I would say, especially since we're falling behind, according to a lot of people, in the QB recruiting in 2025, that's going to be huge. If we can get Ryder Lions to commit, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up, is that we seem to have gotten so far behind because of focusing on Juju Lewis. Now I get his name right, now that he's probably not going to come here. That we're getting an early start on Ryder Lions. Now, Ryder Lions he attributed his visit to senior offensive analyst and quarterback assistant Jesse Stone for making the visit happen. He's pretty much the reason I'm out here, just the relationship that we've built. Lions said, I'm going to honor that, so that's why I came out and I visited to see how it is. Now, he also talks about how important relationships are. And so that, again, comment on comment kind of, builds on that. He's proving that it's a relationship. He also said it was an amazing visit. Definitely made a big impression on me. I definitely will be back. Again, this is just some assistant that is building this relationship. Everyone in that building is a recruiter, Josh. Everyone in that building.
That's what it takes. It takes a friggin' village, and our village is prospering. It's sorry, my computer froze. Oh, there it goes. It's prospering. It's going crazy right now, and the fact that he's wanting to stick by his word and visit out of respect to a friggin' secondary recruiter on his recruitment says a lot. Says that Auburn is a real player, and he's really considering Auburn.
Yep.
Speaks volumes.
And he, the last quote I'll leave with you for him is definitely a top school now, for sure.
Good to hear. Great to hear.
So just a phenomenal Big Cat weekend with a lot of big commitments coming out of it because of Big Cat weekend. And now, Josh, with that big bombshell, War Eagle.
War Eagle, man.